Hello everyone, this is the Magic Kid Robotics Lab, when and how to start a great robotics education. My name is Matthew Hirsch. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am Magic Kid's Curriculum Development Director, and I have been a NASA Space Apps Challenge local lead since 2021, and a RAC event partner manager in California. I began my teaching career in early childhood education, and I transitioned to STEM education. I believe every child should learn STEM-related knowledge and that each student will find the joy of learning and the direction of development in their own way. This photo here is taken at the VEX Worlds event in Dallas, and there I am and a bunch of other teammates, and also Angel, our CEO and founder of Magic Kid. There she is. Let's start off with this first slide here too. This is, of course, a quote from Steve Jobs. "Everyone should learn how to code. It teaches you how to think." And even though he said this a while ago, it still rings true today. Thinking about how to communicate is always important, and especially now we're communicating with more technology than ever before. It's something that is going to be involved in every aspect of life. The first question people ask is, when is it appropriate for kids to learn robotics? Well, age-appropriate courses are available for all sorts of different ages, and it's never too early. Here we see the range of children, starting with the littlest children. As they kind of just play around and interact with the devices, they'll be able to get used to what happens when they, try different things and kind of see a cause and effect. As kids get a little bit older, they can start to explore how to build certain types of robots. And this picture here is using mechanical robots. Working with these robots, these little holes help them design a 3D robot that they can make it move in all sorts of different ways. As kids get a little bit older, they can start exploring with other different types of robots. Here we see a couple different types of robots that kids can construct and use different types of sensors and also start to program them to be able to do even more complex things. Of course, it's not just for kids. Parents and grandparents, everyone should learn robotics and programming, and it is never too late. Here we see students and parents working together. Here on the right, you can see that they've taken robotics to even people of any age. Here's a great photo from President Barack Obama. He had a Hour of Code event back in 2014, and this was a great way to get kids involved. You can tell that they were working on, here we actually have Dash the robot there from the Wonder Workshop, and getting these robots to do amazing things using their sensors. Even at a young age, kids are learning how to interact with all sorts of robots and technology like artificial intelligence. It's going to be incorporated in every aspect of life as they grow older. They can start learning sequencing and how to express their ideas through robotics and coding. As they get a little bit older, they can start to really construct those ideas into a little bit more elegant solutions. And of course, as they learn mathematical concepts, it connects to all sorts of other STEM-related fields: science, technology, engineering, and math. That robot that was in that last photo there is from a company called Wonder Workshop. We actually have several lessons at Magic Kid where kids get to interact with those robots in a fun way, especially with their friends. And here you can see they have actually what's called graphical coding. So there is a little bit of reading about what has to happen in it, but just following along in the sequence of what they want to do, they can see how a robot is going to cue from one thing to the next. So in this case, it turns off its lights, and then it turns it on to red, and then after a second, it turns it off, and it creates a little loop. So as a visual representation, students get the chance to kind of express that. So that's what's really nice about these type of technology products that these different companies are putting out. Over here, you can see in this photo that we actually used to be neighbors with the Wonder Workshop team. We became a curriculum development partner and helped them with actually connecting to a lot of different outlets, especially in the Asian market. The next question people might have is how? Well, there's a lot of different types of robots. Of course, the Wonder Workshop robots are great, but there's many different types of robots out there. So it's best to have a diverse way of thinking with the different types of companies and different types of coding. And we believe that giving kids the experience to try different things is very important. Here you can see there's a wide variety of different types of robots. Here we have a humanoid robot and of course drones, in addition to our Wonder Workshop robots, and even explore other types of sci-fi robots and other companies such as Lego EV3, as we mentioned earlier. Another way of getting them interested is with competition. Of course, competitions are fun and motivating, but the most important part is that they allow kids to practice and extend what they have already learned, and also get to work together as a team. A lot of times people think, well, my kid maybe does better by themselves. Well, if you're going to be doing robotics as you grow older, you're always going to be working in a team. And of course, that type of teamwork is especially prevalent in competition at events. So it's a great opportunity for students to see how these work together to solve their problems in a game format. Of course, it's not just the competition. It's actually thinking beyond that. There are, of course, lots of different types of competitions, but the best type of knowledge is learning how to solve actual problems, like practical issues. So, of course, whether that's thinking about space and what's facing us in the future, or in this case here is a walking robot. How can you get a robot to walk, right? This is from the UCLA RoMeLa lab, and this is a humanoid robot, and it was the first robot landed on the moon named Charlie. And this professor right here, Dr. Hong, he explained how different types of robots worked and how they moved on two legs and different ways of getting robots to do that. In this photo here, these girls are from the Magic Kid Irvine lab, and they are showcasing their creation that was a submission for the NASA International Space Apps Challenge. And this team became a global finalist honorable mention, which is a high honor. Even one of the 4 Seeds members here is now a NASA intern working in the robotics field. One rule that is important to think about is how to have simultaneous learning of robotics and programming. Of course, they go hand in hand. You have to have a robot that you can interact with, and coding it is the way to get it to do things you want it to do and also work with those different types of sensors. Of course, the Dash robot here, this one has an attachment to be able to play a xylophone. But of course, there's other attachments and other types of robotics that can happen. In this case, this is a robot car that can use sensors to be able to see where it is, if it's going to run into a wall, things like that. That type of hands-on learning is very important for students as they go throughout their robotics education. The second rule, of course, is to make it student-centered. We believe that guiding students to think and create, and that includes things like allowing them to research and try their own things, and of course come into those problems and overcome those issues, and be able to explore and express their own pace too, and also their own ideas. Here we see a couple different photos. This one photo up here, you're seeing how to get these robots to move along a path. There are many ways of coding a robot and getting it to move different distances, but here they're using a ruler to kind of figure out how far they should move the robot, and then testing it out and see if it works as they expect. Down over here we have a VRC robot, which allows even older students to be able to get their